Hello everybody, Stacey Kennedy here on my adult autism life, and there's something I've wanted to talk about that's been on my mind for quite a while, and I thought the subject I bring up today is about setting healthy boundaries. And as for most of us on the spectrum, well, it's not particularly a problem of mine. I set very good boundaries, but there are also there are those that may not exactly know what that is, and to be, understand, each person perspective, but also looking out for your own too. It's understandable that that not everyone, I mean, even those maybe who are non-autistic, may not know what that is. It depends on where they're coming from. So anyways, I'll try to, I want in this video, I want to just really be as reasonable and understanding, to my perspective, but also to others' perspective of why maybe they would say things that they didn't realize would, I don't know, particularly offend the other person. Me, I have more of a calming source on this because, I've been around those, including myself, for quite a while. And but anyways, to healthy boundaries, why I think they are important, because sometimes it is important to know the need of what to say and what not to say to somebody. And we've all said things and not realizing the consequence of it, or why did it upset this person, or why did it mildly even discourage them, Well, this is an experience that I've had a few times, and when something was said to me that I just never really was said to me before, but somehow this person just recognized something and thought, oh, they ought to say something, not realizing how, it might offend them or offend me or so. And I don't know, the way my reaction towards it, which honestly my boyfriend, always sticking up for me anyway, saying, no, States, you had a right to react the way you did. And a therapist's perspective was, it sounds like you handled it the best way you could. You handled it fine. But then this person who said the, unreasonably, offensive thing, without realizing it, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was his intention, either way, thought that it was uncalled for me to, react the way I did. And maybe trying to put myself in his shoes, seeing it from his view, I could probably see why he'd say that. I've been on the other end of that before. I have, where someone would be upset at me, even though they'd have a right to be, but then I would say, don't get upset at me, don't yell at me, that kind of thing. Anyways, I know what that's like. I do. But I've rounded up to become just more reasonable now, though, and also just remembering to breathe. Anyways, I did get up. I mean, what I said to this person was that, you didn't need to say that. You really didn't. And maybe I could have said it more differently. I don't know. I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't reason with this guy well. I'm an autistic person myself, and he is too, or they are. And why would I say that I should be more, or not should? See, that's where the shoulds and must or stop or don't statements, that's where the line can be drawn sometime. But anyways, I just said, you know what, you really didn't need to say that. You could have, please, don't say that again. What I probably would have, what I would maybe say this time would be try and be mindful of what you say to people, because you never know, it could offend them. It's something, they will end up being self-conscious about, or probably already are. And it's just something they don't always need the brutal truth, told to them, and it probably was before. And of course, some of us are, sometimes we're just honest, and I mean, we're always honest. There's also emotional intelligence. Sometimes there's a lack of that. And this particular person, perhaps they lack the emotional intelligence. And now that's not a criticism. It's not supposed to be. It's just an awareness, hopefully, that they'll have and realize, especially after my reaction, which, to this day, I still feel I had a right to. Sometimes those who lack emotional intelligence aren't quite that mindful yet, or maybe they're not at all. And even if I were to forgive this person, which, I have, even if they apologize, I will accept their apology, but you got to somehow decide, is this someone you really want to interact with at all anymore, or at least not for a while, until they understand why, they best not to say the thing that they did, even if it is the truth. It's best not to go in anybody's own personal emotional pockets. It's like, yeah, here's a metaphor. Like, it's like reaching into someone else's pocket without asking them. I can't stretch that enough either. That when you don't have someone's consent to say this or that, or a comment that might be about something personal to them, and if it shows, it's and even if, whether it shows or not, it's just best to be, I want to put it gently, but like, be respectful. And sometimes those morals aren't always there. Some people don't have morals at all, right? Unhealthy boundaries, it's, I consider them, they and I set them for myself. And if not, I mean, even to those who are not neurotypical, right? I mean, not every autistic person's the same, and each person will react differently to something. And it's just, I guess, the thing to be aware about, and like awareness, mindfulness, like, which basically means being present in the moment of certain subjects that someone may not be ready to talk about, or something that wasn't brought up in the first place. Which, in that, I take compliments well when I'm told I'm beautiful, and it also and sweet personality goes along with it. And if there's one particular thing on somebody's, how would you say, on their face or their body, no one noticed before, and then they say something about it, it really isn't necessary, because they may not think it's an issue. It may not bother them. Maybe it's not bothering you. Maybe it's not bothering you or so, but it might bother them that you bring it up. So that's just another perspective. And so, if anything, I would want to present and address things kindly. Yeah, just keep aware, be mindful, keep aware of how what your comment might affect the other person or so. What's also important too is that to try to learn to, like, not let things, bother you, because people are going to say things anyways, and how it could help you and yourself progress. And just sometimes life could just be one big test, right? But also just to step back and just remind yourself that you're human, and this particular subject or comment, is this really worth obsessing about, and is it worth all your time and energy, in a positive way or negative way? So yeah, I thought I'd add that too. So okay, thanks.